Okay, so you found love and it seemed like nothing and no one could get between you. You found passion, compassion, connection, attraction, and now it feels like it's all gone. And you're probably wondering, how can I make them love me again? Well, good news, you can get back to where it all started, and here's how. Hi, my name is Mario Che, and I am a relationship repair coach, and I've been doing that for well over a decade, and I've helped thousands of people to save their marriages, save their relationships, even when the other person wasn't a willing participant. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. So the very first thing that you must do is that we've got to minimize or eliminate what we call cortisol triggering events. Okay, and that's stress triggering events. Now consider it this way, that human beings are pretty simple. In fact, from a single-celled organism, from an amoeba all the way up to human being, we're all doing the same thing. We're moving away from whatever triggers stress, and we're moving toward whatever triggers happy hormones. That's it, that's all we're doing. We want to be happy, and we're looking for, and we're triggered for, and we're naturally pulling for anything that makes us feel good about ourselves. And we're moving away from anything that makes us feel bad or stresses us out. And so one of the biggest things that you can do to bring the love back, and that you have to do, is that you've got to detox the relationship. And so how do you detox it? You've got to take out those stress triggering, those cortisol triggering events that have been there. What are those cortisol triggering events that I'm talking about? And you're probably going to realize that you're doing some of those things even though you think that they're really good, that you have a really good reason for why you're doing them. Okay, so you may want to write these down. This is good. These are good to remember. Blaming. You don't want to blame. Take blaming out. Blaming, complaining, defending, justifying. When you make someone wrong, right, for something or something in life wrong, it's like, this is wrong, right? It's automatically a cortisol triggering event, and you get into conversations with them, arguments we could call them, about right, wrong, true, false, or agree, disagree. So these are simple actions that you can take that if you just simply take them out of the relationship, you're going to maximize, you're going to automatically shift and maybe even turn the relationship 180 degrees right away. Now, there are actions that you can take that would actually shift the relationship and actually create that positivity and bring back that loving feeling all over again. And these are what we call happy hormones. Okay, so what are happy hormones? Well, they are D.O.S.E, D-O-S-E. It's an acronym that stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And these are the happy hormones. These are the hormones that we release or that are released when we have that in love feeling. So think about it. When you first got with your partner, you were triggering happy hormones in them. They felt good when they were around you. And when you really think about it, you felt good when you were around them. And you just so consistently and reliably felt good around each other that you just found yourself like texting them and calling them and saying, hey, you want to hang out? I know it's midweek, but hey, would you like to hang out? And they're like, yeah, let's hang out. You know why? It's because you were triggering that happy hormone, and it made them want to come towards you, and it made you want to come toward them. And so when you're triggering those happy hormones, what's happening is it's giving us what we need, and it's making us want to be with each other. Eventually we create an association with that happy hormone, and it makes us say, oh my gosh, I want to feel this way for the rest of my life. And everybody wants to do that. So eventually what happens is they think about you and you're not even there. And they have such created an association with that happiness that they feel good when they just think about you. And then on the other side, they're thinking about you and they're feeling the same exact way. So it goes both ways there. Now we got to bring that back. Somehow along the way, between the mortgage, the kids, mistakes that we've made, just real life showing up, or complacency and honestly, just taking people for granted, we stop triggering that happy hormone the way that we used to. And so now we don't have our partner feeling that way anymore. And, and then guess what? The attraction goes away, the love goes away, the compassion goes away, the desire to forgive the things and the mistakes that we've made goes away. And we can bring those back and eliminate that, what we call dose deficiency, by simply now having what we call happy hormone triggering events. So what are happy hormone triggering events? A happy hormone triggering event would be like listening, like an active listening. When you actively listen to your partner and leave them feeling like they're heard, guess what? They get a dopamine spike, and they also get left feeling oxytocin. Oxytocin is a cuddle hormone. It makes you feel like someone's got your back. Well, in that moment when you're listening to them, they're getting a spike of oxytocin. It makes them feel like, yeah, they got my back. They heard me in what was important to me. And so that's one of those things that you can do. You could also like bring them a plate of food or bring them a drink in a public place. You could defer to them and make them a priority around other people. That gives them a serotonin spike. You can even going for a walk. Guess what? A long walk, exercising together, etc. Those are in themselves happy hormone triggering events. Okay, so just by being around you while they're triggering that happy hormone will give you guys a spike inside your relationship and start creating that association with you and that happy hormone again. Here's another big hack for bringing back the love in your relationship. And this is around what we call the law of diminishing marginal impressions. And what that means is, in layman's terms, is first impressions count. They are the only impression, to be honest with you. The third thing you can do to bring the love back is get responsible for that you might not be approachable. You may be unapproachable.
Wait a minute.
In fact, you may have R.B.F, resting bitch face, and it may be destroying your marriage. Let me explain this. The amygdala. What's the amygdala? It's a part of the brain that's responsible for the stress response, threats. It assesses threats. So the amygdala will release stress hormone that prepares the body for fight or flight. So being unapproachable can trigger this response in someone who's around you as you make them feel on edge. And you may not even know it, just simply because you walk in and you don't have a smile on your face. And then they're left with not being able to be vulnerable around you, and it just naturally just creates a cortisol response. Something as easy as smiling at someone, softening your eyes when you see someone, when you encounter them for the first time, can completely change their perception and have them wanting to engage with you. So that is one of the biggest things you can do inside of shifting your relationship. Believe it or not, you may be, in fact, not knowing it, walking in the room, not knowing what you're doing, you may be triggering stress and having your partner walk away from you or move away from you. And so you can move that, if you can shift that, and now instead of creating cortisol, you're now triggering happy hormone, triggering oxytocin, letting them know that you're present to them, that they're the best thing since sliced bread. You could literally shift your relationship with just that little switch just inside of what you're doing, okay? So that'll make a huge difference. That is one of the biggest hacks, believe it or not. I walk into the room and I wag my tail when I see my wife like she's everything, right? My dog's got nothing on me because I want to make sure that she is left with that I am just more excited to see her. I'm her biggest fan. If you're seeking suggestions on how to make your husband love you again, always remember that everything is in your power. If you want to learn how to actually keep the chemistry going and dose your partner into falling back in love with you, check out my website. You can click the link below. We'll talk to you soon. See you on the other side.